I've spent over $1 million on real estate marketing trying to track down sellers to sell their homes to me. I'm talking about everything from cold calling to direct mail to TV ads to radio ads to pay-per-click to SEO to pay-per-lead, everything that you can think of. You name it, I've done it. And in this video, I'm going to give you all of the benefits, the pros, and the cons of every single marketing channel so you don't have to go out there and break the bank and learn all the hard lessons the same way that I have. Here's what actually worked, what flopped, and what I'd do if I was starting from zero today. Now, I've been scaling real estate companies since 2016 after I dropped out of college. My first business, HelloPad, went on to do over $2 million in a year by the time I was 20 years old. And now, after almost a decade in the business, I can confidently tell you that marketing in this business is tricky. I've chased every kind of marketing, inbound or outbound, all the ones that the gurus talk about: cold calling, direct mail, SMS way back in the day, ringless voicemail back in the day, TV ads, radio ads. I've done it all. I spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I've had months where I spent over $100,000 in a single month on real estate marketing. This is all real world, not theory. None of these numbers are made up. These are hard data points from my CRM and from working with hundreds and hundreds of investors and agents around the country. And I can tell you one thing, and the one thing you're going to take away from this video is the ideal marketing stack. Towards the end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly the stack that I would do and implement in 2025 and moving into 2026 if I wanted to absolutely dominate my market, crush my competition, and maximize my return on ad spend. So let's start with one of the most common ways to market and one that's been a trending topic recently, which is Facebook ads. I've spent about $40,000 on Facebook ads in my career trying to find off-market deals to do. I've always gotten about a 1.5x return on ad spend, or $1.50 per dollar I put in on Facebook ads, which is below what you want in real estate. You want 3 to 6x back per dollar that you put in. What I can tell you about Facebook ads is it does work not at scale. So if you want to do one deal a month, you can spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month on Facebook ads, and you can do deals. The problem is you have to sort through so many tire kickers, tenants, and random people filling out your form on Facebook or Instagram, which is connected when you run those ads. And it creates complexity and so much need for screening out BS garbage phantom leads. So as you scale that, about 90% of your inbound traffic will be noise, people who are fake or you can't do anything with it. So it gets really annoying and there's diminishing returns at scale. I don't know anyone that spends more than about $2,000 or $3,000 a month with Facebook ads and gets more value because they spend more. So Facebook ads, they can work at a very small scale, but you deal with a lot of BS, a lot of tire kickers. And again, it's really hard to take to a big number and build a business around it. Now let's talk about direct mail. Direct mail, I've easily spent 6 figures on in my career. What I can tell you about direct mail is I've always found direct mail is about a 2.5 or 3x return on ad spend. So better than Facebook ads. It's one of my favorite inbound channels and it's pretty consistent. Now the pros and cons of mail, the pros are that people are calling you. A lot of times that means they have more motivation. But the cons are a lot of those calls will be asking to be taken off your list and to stop mailing to them. The cons are a lot of the time mail is very cyclical. So it'll work and then it'll stop working. Another con is you have to commit to it for a long period of time for it to work. It can be not very cost effective because you have to spend a lot of money behind it to get the volume needed to get your return on ad spend. But if you have a big budget, and for me, as our budget expanded, mail was always part of our arsenal. And I'm going to talk more about that later on. Then you have cold calling. And I'm going to loop cold calling, ringless voicemail, and texting into one bucket. Again, you need to make sure you follow rules and regulations around the TCPA and D&C if you're going to market to those buckets. But I'm going to put those all in the same bucket: cold calling, ringless voicemail, and text messaging as outbound marketing. Outbound marketing is very scalable and has a very high margin for error. So what I mean by that is your cost per lead is very low. So you get a lot of at-bats. You get really good at sales very quickly. I've always found at scale we're about a 3 to 4x return on ad spend on outbound marketing. So pretty similar to mail. Now the pros are pretty cheap cost per lead, pretty high margin for error. The cons are they're usually a little bit colder. Usually the sales cycle is longer. You need to nurture them quite a bit more. And another con is oftentimes you have to sort through a lot of tire kickers. Now, I'm going to talk about and group together a few other types of inbound marketing. You have pay-per-click, you have SEO and pay-per-lead. Those are all pretty similar to me. The pros of those marketing channels are the reality that you get very warm traffic. Usually you'll be at between a 3 and 5x return on ad spend on these channels. I've always been in that number. The cons are very low margin of error. So if you're not a great salesperson yet, it can be really hard to get the return that you need because one of those leads can cost $300, right? A pay-per-click lead in San Francisco or Seattle or New York or Miami can cost you $300, $400, $500. And so if you're not super comfortable in sales yet, I see people burn a lot of cash. And I burned a lot of cash trying to master pay-per-click, but pay-per-click is one of my favorites. Kind of goes hand in hand with pay-per-lead and SEO. They kind of all go in the same bucket. And last but not least is what I call historical media. So you have TV ads and radio ads. I've spent over $100,000 on TV ads. I can tell you that it does work in some markets. The pros of it are, again, it's kind of like pay-per-click and mail. You get warmer, interested people calling in. The cons are you sift through a lot of BS and it's very, very expensive. If you're not really good at sales yet, you will struggle. So that's a quick breakdown. And after $1 million of testing all these channels, here is the stack that I would actually recommend moving into 2026. The 3 to 5 channel combo stack that I think is always a winning formula, no matter what market you're in, is 3 components. 1, you have an outbound component. 2, you have an inbound component. And then you have targeted niche mail. And so your outbound component, I think cold calling is an amazing way to add outbound. Again, you need to pay attention to DNC and TCPA rules, state and federal, for your market, what time of day you can call, what dialer you can use. It sounds scary. Do your research. And it's simple once you understand it to put it into practice. So step number 1, you want to make sure you have an outbound channel. That outbound channel will be able to produce leads between $30 and $70 per lead, give you unlimited at-bats, unlimited chances to get good at sales, and again, low cost per lead. Now, you should close about 1 out of 50 outbound leads across the country, but that is outbound. So outbound 1 out of 50, you need an outbound channel for your market. You need an inbound channel. So I recommend pay-per-click as my second part of my kind of gold standard marketing stack. So cold calling, pay-per-click. Pay-per-click can be expensive, but I do recommend having that as part of your stack if you can afford it. And then number 3 that I recommend is going to be targeted niche mail. So people you don't get responding to you from your outbound marketing, you can use mail to get them coming inbound. And also you can mail your super niche list, right? So your pre-foreclosures, your bankruptcies, your probates, your divorces, your evictions, and the list goes on. So this channel hits everyone. It hits the people you can do outbound marketing to. It's the people you can't do outbound marketing to with mail. And it hits the people who are going through really, really serious situations, who are looking you up on Google and want to call in or submit a form on your website via pay-per-click. So it hits the 3 core pillars of marketing. And if you guys are watching this video, you don't have to implement them all at one time, but as your budget allows, cold calling, pay-per-click, and then targeted direct mail as that third kind of glue marketing channel, that is the way to win heading into 2026. When you bring all 3 of these marketing channels together, you're going to have somewhere between 5 and 20 leads per day, which gives you the ability to sign multiple deals per month. No matter if you're going to wholesale, flip, develop, it gives you the footing, it gives you the foundation to start building your business in the direction that you want. So I can't preach enough. It's important that you hit people from these 3 angles and package them all together. You don't need to waste $1 million or more like I did trying to master the real estate marketing game. You can just learn what I've given you in this video and the insights completely for free. So learn from my mistakes. If you're new here on the channel, this is your first video, welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I put out almost daily, very valuable, digestible pieces of content to help you grow your real estate business. We also run the Easy Button Real Estate podcast that has 2 episodes weekly. And we also have a community of a couple hundred like-minded agents and investors. It is the #1 community for agents and investors to grow their business and do their next deal off market. And if you want to learn more about that below, you can as well. But until next time, like I always sign out with, you are only one deal away.